What we're going to do on this lesson is talk about how to organize flies. Now obviously the typical person doesn't have anywhere near the flies I have. I've been fishing and guiding since 1983, fly fishing and guiding since about 1988 or 87. And I've fished all over the world, fished all kinds of different rivers, and every place I go I collect a few flies, sometimes more than a few. I've tied tons of flies, anticipating that the next year I'll need them and then don't need them. So as a result, I have literally thousands of flies, maybe 15,000 flies. And I'm going to show you how I organize them, even if you've only got a couple hundred flies. I sometimes see somebody sitting on a riverbank, they open up their fly box, and they've got nymphs in one place, dry flies mixed, interspersed with them, spinners interspersed, small stuff, big stuff, caddises, mayflies, midges, all kind of jumbled together. All that does is cost time. And I don't consider myself to be terribly OCD, but I do think it's important, especially as a guide, again, like we talked about in the vest. What's important is that my client gets the most out of my time. And so I've organized my flies, storage flies, which I keep separate from the things that are in my vest. When I get done with the hatch, I move the storage fly, I move the vest flies into storage in the appropriate place, and I take things out of the storage and put them in my vest. So I continually rotate flies, and that's what helps me keep things organized and have the proper fly for the proper period of time on a river. So let's talk about it. First thing I have a couple of boxes like this where I store the majority of my streamers. Now I also have some other smaller boxes that I'll take with me on occasion, but these boxes are all my streamers. So I've got two of these boxes. They're different sizes, different shapes, different colors. They match different kinds of things. Some of them are 8 inches long, some of them are 1.5 inches long. They imitate all kinds of stuff. Just because it's a streamer doesn't mean it doesn't imitate things. This could imitate a crawfish. It could imitate an eel, a gecko, a snake. I mean, there's tons of different things you might want to imitate. In any case, I've got two of these boxes, that one and this one. And these are all my freshwater. These are obviously the smaller ones. These are mostly basic kinds of small bait fish patterns, and then quite a few others that I have that are, this is more likely what I'm going to fish unless I'm fishing big flies, which I use the other box. But this is my smaller box. And then I have this, which is kind of torn up right now. This is a box I keep that has all my smaller flies in it. Or not all of them, but the ones that are probably not going to be used anytime soon. So for instance here, this box here is caddis flies and emergers. This has all my caddis emergers in it. This one has small mayflies in it. So I label them so I know, and all these little containers have different kinds of small mayflies in them. Then I've got other flies like this is another box of small mayflies that I haven't put back into the big box yet, which will happen in the fall when things slow down. This is a bunch of tiny little bead-headed midges. And then I've got terrestrials in this box. And so you can see I've divided, I don't want to go through the whole box, but this is parachutes. So all these are parachutes, probably size anywhere from size 22 to size 12. And then I've got another one here that's caddis dries. And then, you know, all kinds of different ones here. Here's big nymphs. And then I've got one with spinners. Different kinds of things. So this is an important part of my organizational process, so I'm not scrambling around trying to find different flies. If all of a sudden I need a size 18 yellow spinner, I can go to the spinner box and I can see at a glance where the size 18 yellow spinners are, pull them out, put them on box, ready to fish, instead of going through just a disheveled, unorganized bunch of flies. So put these back real quick, and then we're going to show you a couple other things that I have. So in here there are literally thousands and thousands of flies, all organized specifically by type, size, and species. In this box are the flies that I'm probably most likely to use in the short term. So in this box, for instance, small parachutes. This is just a box full of tiny parachutes that these are the kinds of things that are hatching right now. So I pulled it out so I don't have to dig that big box out of my basement. I just have this. Then I have here, these are for instance sow bugs and scuds. They've been working pretty good, so I keep them in here. So if I run out, I have clients sometimes, we've had clients break off, literally 2 clients about a month ago Dylan had 22 flies broken off, and I had about 11 or 12. We had almost 35 flies disappear in one day. So it's important that we resupply our vests on a regular basis. Then we've got this kind of box here. These are basically, this hasn't been resupplied yet, but this came out. These were all the flies that we used during the PMD hatches early in the year. This is just these are streamers that I use on a regular basis. My favorite streamer is a tan or white streamer, so I've got quite a few of those. And then all the stuff that I might be using on a regular, these are Comparaduns, from tiny ones, because even the smaller ones in sizes 20 and 22 work well for many of the smaller mayflies we're seeing right now. So this is kind of what I'm doing, and I'm trying to keep all my flies. These are grasshoppers. So these are just the kinds of things that are going to be needed on a regular basis. And again, there's hundreds, maybe thousands of flies even in this box. But again, they're all organized so I can find them. If I run out of size 22 Baetis, dark Baetis nymphs, they're in this box. I can find them immediately. The last thing I have is this big box. And in this big box, big old crate, this is where all my big stuff is in case I float, like when I float the Green River late in the year, or we go up and fish other big rivers. Let's see, I got this going the wrong way. Inside of this box are all my big stuff. So this box is full of just hoppers. This box has mice patterns if we're going to fish at night. All the mice patterns are in here, and just all the way down through here, all kinds of different patterns. Lots of big rubber leg stuff, you know, Amy's ants, Chernobyls, that kind of stuff. They're all in this box. So big stuff is in this box, along with a lot of extra fly boxes in case I need to just put together a fly box and don't have a chance to unload one and load another. Sometimes I just have to load one and set the another loaded one aside, and I just don't have time because I'm guiding every single day. So all this is just a way, it's a conceptual thing that you might want to consider. It obviously isn't something you need to do, especially if you've only got a couple hundred flies. But I see a lot of people, if you do have even 3 fly boxes or 2 fly boxes, man, I can't tell you how many times I've looked at a fly box that's a little disheveled and not been able to find the fly I'm looking for, and then get home and I open up the box and there it is. So, you know, it's going to save you time. It's going to catch more fish if you've got your stuff organized, even if it's just in 3 small fly boxes. So I hope this helps a little bit in terms of fly organization and storage, because I think it's something that'll make your life a lot easier when you get out on that stream, especially if you're the kind of person who only gets to fish 5 or 6 days a year. Hey, do this during the winter. Get it all organized so when you walk to the stream, bam, you're going to spend those 5 or 6 days as effectively as possible.